Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man. One of the videos that give us cause to...
Have you ever watched a superstar stumble? Have you ever seen a league go from confident to crumbling in seconds? Tonight, we dive into the chaos that erupted when Brittney Griner found herself backed into a corner, and Riley Gaines launched a blistering attack that the WNBA still can't recover from. Brittney Griner strode onto the court with her usual calm. You could hear the crowd buzzing. Everything looked normal, until it wasn't. One moment, she was the game's queen. The next, rumors of panic began to swirl.
Make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this and it stayed up for 106 weeks was not like, oh, this is a female chest, we have to take this down. Oftentimes, if breast cancer runs in a family, women will preemptively get like double mastectomies. There are some great surgeons out there, don't get me wrong, but I don't see any scars on Brittney's chest that would be...
Hey, quick favor before we move on. If you find this content interesting, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Most of you watch without subscribing and it's free, but it helps us out so much. Have you done it yet? Thanks a ton for the support. Now, let's get back to the video.
Brittney Griner was caught on tape during a game with the Indiana Fever, dropping racial slurs against Caitlin Clark. I mean, pretty obviously doing so.
The trigger was simple. A hot take from Riley Gaines. No stranger to controversy, Gaines dropped a verbal bombshell that left Griner and league officials scrambling. Fans in the stands leaned forward. Was this really happening? By the time the final whistle blew, the internet had ignited. Clips of Gaines's takedown went viral. Griner's team scrambled to explain. The WNBA issued a statement that only raised more questions. It was chaos at its finest. We're gonna break down every twist, you'll hear the exchanges, you'll feel the tension, and you'll see why this moment might define the WNBA's future.
Quote of Brittney Griner, what she said about the NBA. This is so funny how all this stuff works out, right? She says, this is from Brittney, every time we play her, there's this commotion.
Griner's season had been solid. She was landing highlight dunks and commanding respect. Off the court, she spoke softly about unity. On the court, she let her play do the talking. Everyone expected smooth sailing. Then came Riley Gaines. Known for calling out unfair play in sports, she's never been shy. Her background as an Olympic swimmer gave her an edge. She had the moral high ground and the confidence to use it. When she speaks, people listen. A few nights earlier, Gaines had warned that she was watching. She said she'd speak up if things went off course. Fans nodded, critics yawned. No one expected what came next.
Like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there, watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. It's called a freaking game that they...
During a post-game interview, Gaines unleashed her critique. It wasn't a gentle suggestion. It was a full-blown assault on Griner's conduct. Right there on live TV, Gaines questioned why Griner was still on that court so soon after the Clark incident. The tone was merciless. What made Gaines's attack so jarring was the collision of two very different worlds. Griner represents the WNBA's old guard. Patient, polished, proven, Gaines represents a new wave of athletes unafraid to mix sport and social debate. When they clashed, sparks flew.
And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted...
Media outlets scrambled for sound bites. Social channels lit up with heated takes. Some fans cheered Gaines's bravery. Others rallied behind Griner's legacy. In between, the WNBA's PR team broke into a sweat. League execs had always avoided this kind of public scuffle. Their motto, nip it in the bud, move on. But Gaines's words hit with such force that silence was no option. Any attempt to hush it only fueled the fire.
And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors to make...
Inside the locker room, Griner's teammates whispered. Some offered support, others looked uneasy. They knew what was coming next. The questions from reporters, the social media trolls, the analysts replaying the clip on loop. Griner herself stayed quiet. She taped her wrists and stared at the floor. A few teammates patted her shoulder. No one knew the right words. The locker room that once buzzed with strategy now hummed with anxiety. Coaches huddled off to the side. They conferred in hushed tones. Was it time to issue a public apology? Should they challenge Gaines's version of events? Each choice felt risky. Every move could deepen the crisis.
To say that is this video. It is from her Instagram stories from years and years ago.
When Griner finally spoke, her statement was brief and noticeably tense. She insisted she'd been misunderstood. She claimed the clip was edited. She urged fans to look at the full footage. But fewer people wanted full footage. They wanted answers, and they wanted them now, Riley Gaines capitalized. She released a side-by-side audio analysis. She walked viewers through what she heard and why it mattered. It was the kind of breakdown that goes viral, short, sharp, impossible to ignore. Sports talk radio lit up, podcasts replayed, Gaines's critique, even casual viewers had opinions. The WNBA's hashtag trended, but not for any good reason. Every angle exposed growing cracks in the league's messaging. At the heart of this showdown was a question of fairness. Gaines asked why Griner was still being celebrated when other players had faced worse consequences for far smaller missteps. Fans remembered previous suspensions, fines, and scoldings handed out to less prominent stars. This was the classic double standard debate. When Griner slipped, should the league have stepped in immediately? Or did her status as a star grant her indefinite grace? Commentators tore into both sides. The WNBA found itself defending not just one player, but a system of unequal treatment. No one seemed to trust the league's explanations. Any official statement sounded tone-deaf. The more they defended, the deeper the hole grew.
For the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Then came the live clash. On a popular sports show, Gaines and a WNBA spokesperson faced off. Gaines didn't hold back. She challenged every excuse. She cited precedents. She laid out the moral argument in clear, unsparing terms. The spokesperson stumbled. Attempts at deflection fell flat. The network cut to commercials. Viewers flooded social feeds demanding more. Gaines had won this round spectacularly. That moment cemented her as more than a swimmer with an opinion. She became the face of accountability in women's sports. And Brittney Griner, they say, even she had to pause and wonder how it all went so wrong. Behind closed doors, league officials plotted damage control. They discussed disciplinary measures. They considered denying Gaines' future interview requests. They drafted press releases promising a fair review. But the genie was out of the bottle. Fans no longer saw a united front. They saw a league fractured by its own stars. Advertisers grew nervous. Sponsors asked for reassurances. The WNBA had always promised progress and unity. Now it faces a credibility crisis. Advisors counseled Griner to keep it short. They suggested empathy. They recommended acknowledging fans' frustrations. But Griner's pride and fierce independence made her resist. In private, she vowed to prove herself on the court instead of through statements.
Never suggested the same in reverse, using black as opposed to white in that sentence. That'd be the end of her WNBA career. But Brittney Griner is going strong. It's totally fine.
Her next few games became must-watch events. Every move she made carried subtext. 90-degree angles on her face at tip-off. Deliberate smiles at jump ball. Every dribble was scrutinized. The pressure was relentless. Meanwhile, social media morphed this conflict into a spectacle. Memes of Griner gasping in disbelief, clips of Gaines mic dropping, reaction videos galore. Every day brought a new twist. The league's official handles posted updates that felt robotic. Fans formed two camps. Team Griner tried to recast her as the wrong star. Team Gaines elevated her to hero status. The WNBA hashtag became synonymous with controversy, not celebration. At the center of the original Clark attack that set all this off was Caitlin Clark. Now she watched from the sidelines. She had the chance to be a peacemaker or stay silent. Rumors floated that she considered a public statement, but every word would carry huge weight. Clark's management urged caution. They didn't want to fuel more drama. They reminded her that the league needed stars on both the court and in the headlines, but not for scandals. For now, Clark stayed silent, a queen in exile. Beyond basketball, this saga forced a broader conversation about accountability in sports. Should stars get by on legacy alone? When does loyalty become negligence? Are leagues prepared to treat all athletes equally, or will they always protect their biggest draw? Riley Gaines emerged as a catalyst. She forced uncomfortable questions. Some saw her as a troublemaker, others called her the conscience of women's sports. Either way, she shifted the narrative.
Watch what she says. The entire internet has reacted to this. Here's Brittney Griner. They're playing against the Indiana Fever.
Not everyone's cheering. The minute Caitlin Clark signed that European mega deal, every washed-up analyst, part-time podcaster, and basement-dwelling YouTube commentator suddenly became a financial guru and sports culture critic. This ruins the integrity of the league, one ex-player barked between paid shoutouts. She hasn't earned it yet, cried another, conveniently forgetting Clark's record-breaking season and generational fan impact. It's a familiar pattern. Build her up just to tear her down. From the jump, Clark has had to dance between adoration and accusation. The second she pulls ahead of expectations, someone's there with a ruler, measuring her flaws. The narrative shifts faster than a Euro step. First, she was the savior of women's hoops. Now? A sellout, chasing foreign cash. It's laughable. Nobody bats an eye when NBA stars skip town for off-season exhibition deals in Dubai or Shanghai. But when Clark takes the opportunity, she gets lectures about loyalty and growing the game. Let's be honest, if this was a male rookie, he'd be hailed as a shrewd businessman. But Clark's ambition threatens the establishment, especially the media old guard that isn't used to young women calling shots. What they forget is that Clark's moves are making the pie bigger for everyone. The backlash says more about their insecurities than her intentions.
And look what she's saying. Go ahead, Rob.
Or the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Hasn't hidden her thoughts on the imbalance of media attention. Some say she's bitter, others say she's brutally honest. What's certain is this: Reese isn't taking a back seat, and Clark knows she can't afford to get complacent. The beauty of this rivalry is that it's real, raw, and rooted in respect. Both players know they're reshaping the league, and they're using each other as fuel. If Clark dominates Europe, you can bet Reese is going to double down on stateside dominance. They're pushing each other to new heights, individually and as cultural forces.
Well, that pretty much sounds like trash effing white girl.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest.
So the whole market reacts to this.
Imagine the rematch after Clark returns from overseas with new tricks, only to face a Reese who sharpened her own game in the fire of American criticism. It's not just basketball, it's high-stakes storytelling, and every fan wins. Back at Indiana Fever HQ, executives are doing their best poker faces. Outwardly, they're thrilled for Clark. Behind closed doors, there's likely a whiteboard full of emergency scenarios, travel schedules, and backup plans. Losing your franchise player for even part of the season, even if she's raking in international praise, is a logistical nightmare disguised as a marketing dream. How do you sell season tickets when your star could be in Istanbul for 3 weeks? How do you balance her minutes while she flies across 6 time zones? This is the kind of issue no rookie contract ever prepared a team for. Clark is changing the calculus. She's not just a player anymore, she's a business entity with global pull. The Fever want her to thrive, obviously, but they also want wins, and every mile flown eats into recovery time, team chemistry, and off-day practice routine. Coaches are going to have to adjust, media reps are going to need triple coffee, and trainers, let's just say Clark's massage table will be booked tighter than a Taylor Swift stadium tour.
With Brittney Griner, right? And then the other quote, Rob, then I'm going to wrap this up and then I'm going to go to Adam.
Yet through all the chaos, the Fever knows one thing. This is the cost of greatness. And if they manage it right, Clark's global dominance could make Indiana the epicenter of women's basketball. Something no one predicted even a year ago. Let's strip away the filters and flash for a moment. Behind every $1 million endorsement and social media highlight is a player who's about to live the most exhausting schedule in sports. Clark's Europe deal may read like a dream on paper, but the reality is brutal. Flights, press junkets, workouts, games, sleep deprivation, rinse, repeat. Welcome to the grind. She'll be expected to perform like a machine while being treated like a spectacle. There's pressure to win, sure, but also pressure to smile for sponsors, sign autographs, post reels, and maintain a squeaky clean brand. It's a mental endurance test. No off nights, no slip-ups. One missed game and the headlines go nuclear. Is she overrated? Did she sell out? You know how it goes.
Lip read Brittney Griner, whose voice, by the way, is about as low as mine is, calling her trash and an effing white girl. Now, of course, if Caitlin Clark had...
But this is where Clark's Iowa years molded her. She's not soft. She's sharp, calculated, and composed. That same poise that silenced SEC arenas now fuels her global tour. She knows how to tune out the noise and zone in on the work. So yeah, it's a tall order. But Clark's already beat taller odds. She didn't get here by being ordinary. This isn't just a sports story, it's a business story, a culture story, and a movement. Caitlin Clark's $100 million 0 cents Europe deal is a message to every league executive, every rookie dreaming of greatness, and every little girl shooting hoops in her driveway. The game just changed, again. So where do you stand? Are you on the WNBA or the World Tour? Do you believe the league can keep its stars, or will this be the beginning of a global migration? Let us know below. And if you've enjoyed this no fluff deep dive, make sure to like, comment your hottest take, and subscribe for more sports stories that hit harder than a Clark step back 3. This is just the beginning. Don't miss the next chapter.